today I want to draw a big bear, and I'm going to draw it in the style of FRANZ MARC. He's a famous artist, he's not alive anymore. So he was German, and he did something called almost like cubism. He did beautiful, beautiful bright shapes. I'll show you some work in a moment. But he was born in 1880 and he died in 1916. So quite a long time ago. And he did the most amazing pictures, and they're all normally animals. So I thought if we do a bear today and we sort of base it on that artist, that might be quite cool. So FRANZ MARC German. So if you just write that down on the back of your work, just because it's quite nice to remind yourself who the artist is every time you do a drawing. Now, some of these pictures are really fun. There's like a cat with a lady. I quite like that one. So it's really bright. Look at her cardigan. It's really beautiful blue. I've got the horse, a blue horse, of course. A blue horse, of course. So this horse is done in a style of cubism, expressionism they call it as well. So he was more expressionism than cubism. So he did it in his own style. I love that elephant. How cool is that elephant? I've got paint on my nails. Just realised there's a blue cat. It's kind of cool, isn't it? And that behind him is a yellow cat, and you've got some really nice red leaves. Then you've got like almost like a sketch of, I think it's a deer. That's what's quite cool about expressionism. The work, it's kind of like you can't quite tell what everything is. These are his sketches that he did. So before he painted them, he sketched them up. So can you see all the different shapes amongst the animals? It's really cool. So we're going to do a bear, and we're going to do it really simply, and we're going to do it with a cool background. So all you're going to need first of all is paper, pencil. Do it landscape, so make sure it's kind of landscapey, not upright. So we're going to start off with a circle. So just do, most things that I draw is a circle. So just think cookie, 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 cookie. Once you've done the cookie, we're going to do a really cool big nose. You don't want the nose to be too pointy because then it will look like a fox. So once we've done the nose, we're just going to then go under it, and you're just going to draw kind of like a line. So if you think about it, it's kind of like a little, always reminds me of a triangle, like going up to a triangle. A little bit like an aubergine as well, if you eat aubergines at home. Then we want to do some little bitty eyes. So we're going to go, so 2 rainbows, upside down rainbow, eyeball, eyeball. So don't worry if it looks strange. Bear's eyes are normally quite small. You can give them some eyebrows. So that's just simple, fine. And then you want to go line. Going to do a little nostrils. Now around the mouth and everything, it's going to be slightly different, but don't worry because we're going to change it. So what we want to do now is touch this bit here, just where the cookie is, and you're going to go all the way down. So that's the start of the bear. The bear's not going to be drawn in sort of expressionism or cubism. It's going to be normal bear, and the background's going to be kind of funky. So as we go up, we're going to do this. We're going to go up. So can you see I'm going just beside the circle? Then I'm going to do an awesome ear. Don't do it too pointy, because if you think about pointy ears, they always look like cats, don't they? So then once you've done that, we're going to touch this bit of the ear here. And then you're going to go, ah, just kind of like halfway across. Then we're going to do another ear, and make sure it's rounded like the other one if you can. And then next to the ear, about there, you're going to just float, float, float and do a dot. So about there, do a dot, and we're going to do the other leg. Oh. When you get to about there, you're going to go down. So it kind of changes its position, and in the middle of this you're going to do just a straight leg like that, because he's got his little legs where he's sort of doing it one in front of the other. Looks like a pig at the moment, but don't worry because we're going to rub stuff out so it will look cool. Now we're going to do the tummy, but you won't really see the tummy very much. So we're just going to do a light tummy. It kind of goes up here. I've done it so it's quite light. And then you've got the back, so touch the middle of this bit, just there. and you're going to go round. Can you see how I did it I didn't do it straight, I kind of did it like a hill. And then you're going to dip and then go round. That might be super tricky, so go round, and then I like to dip it a little bit, not too much, and then just around to the bottom. But you don't want it too long. He's quite chunky and he's kind of huddled up the way he's walking, so we don't need it too long. And here we're just going to do this. We're going to touch a line, go down, touch a line, go down. Right, this is pretty much the bear, would you believe? Because we're going to colour it in and make it look more real. So do the ears. I like to do a shape like that, shape like that. And try if you can to, if you touch this bit here and just join it up. That way, kind of probably isn't really what you want to do. I could do that anyway, I think that would look alright. Right, now we want to do the colour, but before we do the colour, because you could take oil pastels, chalk pastels, whatever you really want to use. I'm just going to move this up. I am going to do a cubist style expressionist background. So I guess if you look at some of his pictures, if you look at that, he's got some strange shapes, hasn't he? So it's literally, it's kind of thinking of things like, say you love a moon, and then connect the moon to some shapes, or it could become a sun. So you want to do the whole background as though it's shapes, and it doesn't even need to make any sense really. It's quite nice if it makes a little bit of sense, because these could be my hills, that could be my sun. Pardon me. We could do some grass. Do a little bit of grass there. Right, so that is literally my picture, my cubist picture. So we're going to colour it in now. Now what we've got to do is make sure it looks how we want with the bear. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub out where the ears are. So get your rubber and just rub out this line. You do not need this line. I reckon his ear could be more chunky. Do you reckon? Kind of like these ears more chunky. Good thing about art is you can change things as you go along. And I didn't like what I did there with those lines. I thought I was doing a great thing, and then realised that I wasn't. So we can rub that if we added that in. Okay, right, let's go. Rub out there. I've got a crackly throat today. Okay. It's rather warm in here as well, I'm doing great. Right, bear, let's go. Let's do a purple bear. How cool would that be? So what I'm going to do is get my chalk pastels, and I've got a light purple and a dark purple. So whatever's dark, I'm going to outline the whole thing in purple. But here we've got like a wobbly line. The bear's very furry, so you don't really need to do it too straight. Can you see that? I'm just basically going over all of my lines. So I'm going over all my lines. Now if I look at my picture, which is, because it's quite nice to look at a picture when you're doing it, my picture shows that it's really dark about there. So this is the darkest bit because it's under his body. Bit of darkness there, and mostly dark under here, like proper dark there. Woof. Bit on his head. Right, so it's quite dark there. Then, gonna get a little bit of light my purple, light purple. So if you're doing a red, you do a red and an orange. If you want to do a brown, then obviously you'll do a black and a brown. So if I've done that super fast, just take a look at what I'm doing, like pause it. Because ultimately I'm just filling in a little bit of him. Right, my purple bear looks pretty awesome. I probably wouldn't need to smudge it. I will, but I don't think you need to almost. I want to try and create him looking fluffy if I can. So I'm not even being that careful, am I? But I'm not using my whole hand. I'm using 2 fingers because my paper's so big. But you might decide to use 1 finger because your paper's small. Okay. Oh, there's my purple teddy bear. Right. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get a black. So I've got a black pastel and I'm going to go around the nose. The reason why I had the white nostrils is because they tend to show up. Can you see what I've coloured in? I've coloured in most of it, leaving like a little nostril and then a bobbly bit on the top, and my eyes. Because it's important to get the eyes right, and my ears. So there's my, he kind of looks like Yogi Bear. Now, if I look at my picture, just there, he has got quite pointy ears, my one. He's got like this, if you think about zigzaggy of the face, it is literally, I'm just going over with black because it kind of looks quite cool. Smudging in there, smudging there. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to create some shading, because it always looks quite cool when you do shading. Just copying the picture as I'm doing it, so it might look strange to you. You might think, what you doing? What I might do, can you see like that's the really furry bit, and he's got a furry leg there. So just add it in. He's got lots of hair there, because it's where his back kind of goes. So that is, he looks like a polar bear now, doesn't he? I've realised. My purple polar bear. So what you could do once you've done that is I'm going to get some white, kind of just smudge a little bit of that in. You don't need to see those lines as much. If you've gone over the nose by accident and you want to put the nostrils in, you can put those in of white. His eyes are probably, go around them a little bit more, because you want to smudge things in really. That is my awesome bear, and he looks quite happy. So the background would be like this. If you take a chalk, if you've got water, like watercolours, you can do it with. If you've got oil pastel, you can do it with, but I'm going to use chalk, so I'm going to get really cool colours. Oh, look at that. I've just found this. Ooh. It's like a, you can't really see it in this light, but it's like a fluorescent pink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go round the shape. It's a really nice way of doing, colouring in shapes for the background of things. So I'm going to pick about 4 shapes that I want this colour. I'm not colouring the whole thing, am I? I'm just doing the edges. So I've got green now. I'm going to do 4 shapes green. Do you know what? I might do 5. Let's do 5. Right, what other colour should I use, do you think? Blue? Let's do blue. So if you think about this artist, he did beautiful, beautiful bright colours. I'm just getting different blues now. I'm literally doing different colours that I quite like. So you can choose what colours you like. You might decide to do A turquoise, love a turquoise. Yellow's always nice, isn't it? Ooh, I like a bit of yellow. Let's do some yellow grass. So I'm not really doing it exactly how you do it, but just to show you for the video, you kind of want to do, you don't want to colour the same colour next to the shapes really. Okay, so now I get my one finger. I choose the lightest colour first, so that'll be my yellow. So I'm just smudging carefully. If you've got watercolour, and it's okay if you smudge colours together, but if you've got watercolour, you're going to put the water in there, smudge with the water. If you've got oil, you just smudge with your finger. If you've got paint, you just fill it in with a waterier colour or a different type of colour. So if you've done green with paint, then you take a lighter green and colour it in. I might show you that actually one time because that'll be kind of cool. Whoa, this is a big shape, isn't it? So you're going to take your time. I could have done pink first, couldn't I? Yellow then pink. I didn't. What's the other colour? That beautiful pink. I'm getting quite dirty, my fingers now. Can you see how when you colour a background, yours will be a lot neater than mine, but when you colour a background, it just really brings the animal out, makes it look cool, because what you can do then is you can have the black and you can just, you could start drawing things on top with a black line. So you could just do, that could be grass inside. You could leave it as you like if you want, but I quite like the idea of those are more hills. There, got a bit of grass. So it's really fun to just work over what you've already got. This is sunshine. Made it into a sun now, I think it was a moon. So even though you've coloured separate colours in to create a background, you can just add things in, add things as you go, because it looks really cool and it's quite fun as well to just do the things that you quite like the idea of, like birds in the sky. And what's nice about chalk, if you're using chalk, is you just draw over the black. Doesn't have to be black, but black against colours really stand out. I'd say it's my favourite thing to do, using black over bright colours, because it really shows up. So if you haven't worked with FRANZ MARC before, looking at his work, definitely give it a go, because this is your first FRANZ MARC piece, isn't it really? Looks cool. And then if you want, you can smudge more when you get the black. I quite like to outline stuff, but not too much. Just outlining his body just a little bit against the backdrop. There you go. Ooh. He looks quite cool, doesn't he? Alright, so I'm just outlining the black, but not too much. There you go. That is my FRANZ MARC bear. I always see more that I can add. Don't know if you ever do that. I think, oh, I could do a bit more. So there's my FRANZ MARC bear. Have fun doing your one. Let me know how you get on. Like, subscribe and share. And yeah, send me in your pictures. I love seeing your pictures because they're so cool. So have a good art session. Do you know what? I've just got one more thing. There we go. So enjoy creating and I will see you soon. Mwah.